संघ जननी मां, अम्ब संघ जननी मां, जय जग जननी मां, जय जग जननी मां, अम्ब जगदोद्धारिणी मां, अम्ब जगदोद्धारिणी मां, जय जग जननी मां, जय जग जननी मां, अम्ब जगदोद्धारिणी मां, अम्ब जगदोद्धारिणी मां, भक्ति विदायिनी मां, भक्ति विदायिनी मां, अम्ब मुक्ति प्रदायिनी मां, अम्ब मुक्ति प्रदायिनी मां। सागरी मां, त्रिपुर सुंदरी मां, अम्ब दया सागरी मां, त्रिपुर सुंदरी मां, अम्ब दया सागरी मां, सुंदर वदने मां, सुंदर वदने मां, अम्ब सुगुण मनोहरि मां, सुगुण मनोहरि मां, सुंदर वदने मां, सुंदर वदने अम्ब सुगुण मनोहरि मां, अम्ब सुगुण मनोहरि मां, जय जग जननी मां, जय जग जननी मां, अम्ब जगदोद्धारिणी मां, अम्ब जगदोद्धारिणी मां, जय जग जननी मां, जय जग जननी मां, अम्ब मुक्ति प्रदायिनी मां।
ॐ असतो मा सद्गमया ॐ
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः. Dear friends, it's a great pleasure to welcome you all to the fourth day of the International Symposium on behalf of Ramakrishna Ashram Rajkot. We had beautiful lectures for the last 3 days. The inaugural address was given by Swami Gautamānandaji Maharaj on 1st July on the topic Peace of Mind through Positive Thinking. Swami Sarvapriyanandaji on 2nd July spoke on how to obtain peace of mind during Covid-19 pandemic, the main topic of the webinar, of the symposium. Yesterday we had beautiful talk by Swami Ishatmanandaji from Chicago. The topic was, "This shall also pass." Today our speaker is Swami Kripamayananda, Minister in charge, Vedanta Society of Toronto, Canada. And the topic is how to retain peace of mind when near one dies. And then tomorrow we are going to have talk by Swami Sarvasthananda, Minister in charge, Ramakrishna Vedanta Center, UK, on the topic traditional methods of stress management. And on 6th July we will have lecture by Swami Nirmalatmananji, Minister in charge, Ramakrishna Vedanta Ashrama, Brazil, on the topic how to obtain peace of mind. And last lecture will be on 7th July by Swami Chetananandji Maharaj, Minister in charge, Vedanta Society, St. Louis, USA, on the topic how to overcome fear. So we had lot of important discussions, and we will have still more very important discussions. I am very happy that there is a very, very good response, and the feedback is also good, the response is also good. That gives us encouragement. 1,730 participants from 29 countries have registered, and many are viewing this, and many have told that they are receiving benefit. And the purpose for which we organize this symposium, we feel it is being justified. Today, Swami Kripamayananda will be speaking. He is a monk of the Ramakrishna order. He is a minister and head of the Vedanta Society of Toronto. He joined the order in 1976 and received final monastic vows in 1986. After joining the order, he served in the Ramakrishna Mission Vidyapit, Purulia, India. Just before his posting to North America, he was the headmaster of the high school run by the Ramakrishna Mission in Asansol, India. He was posted to the Ramakrishna Order's Toronto Center in 2003. He has traveled to many major cities in Canada and USA on invitation and has conducted spiritual retreats and has given talks on subjects related to religion and spirituality. He also participated in the last 2 World's Parliament of Religions as a speaker. So he is a very nice speaker, and today he is going to speak on very important topic, how to retain peace of mind when near one dies. We had in fact many telephone calls, distress calls when our devotees had lost their relatives. They were in distress, and particularly the month of April was very, very bad. Even in Ramakrishna order we lost some very senior monks due to COVID-19. And so this was one of the reasons of organizing this symposium, was to provide solace and peace of mind to the people who are in distress. So one of the reasons why they are in distress is that their dear and one has died. Now what to do? How to retain peace of mind during this situation? This will be dealt with by Swami Kripayanandaji. Let us listen to Swami Kripamayananda.
ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. May the divine lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. Oh, peace, peace, peace. We have been facing a great difficult times because of this pandemic for last more than 1 year, about 1.5 years. And these times we have seen many sickness and death of our relatives. Perhaps many of us became sick ourselves, and we were cured and are surviving. But many of us became sick and could not survive. So as the pandemic is, it has affected all over the world. And when it affects us, to us particularly, to individual self, or close family, or extended family, even our friends, it becomes terrible. Sickness itself is so difficult in this COVID that breathing is not possible. People can't go and see, and we are just alone, and so tormenting, so painful is this disease. And if there is death, no one around. One who dies is alone. And as they describe, the death comes like you are choked, like you cannot get air, you cannot breathe, as if you are drowning in some water, no air to breathe. It's so painful is the death. And not only that, for the person who dies is so painful, but for our relatives, close relatives also, it is very painful. And they cannot help, and not even they can go near. And they see the person during the last phase of his life, last time of his life. We are separated without being near. It is a terrible kind of sickness that we went through and still we are going through. Luckily, by God's grace, it is becoming less, and we pray that it is over soon. So today I'm going to put my views about how to retain peace of mind when near one dies. When there is loss of our near and dear ones, it is terrible. It is extremely painful. It cannot be assuaged by any words. It is so difficult to retain our peace of mind if we have peace of mind. And there was so much of fear, anxiety, and it happens finally that person, our dear person, our friend or our relation or our father, our close relation, that person died. It's very shocking. It's very difficult to really regain our peace of mind, forget about retaining peace of mind. When someone of this close person, dear person, they die, it always gives a shock, tremendous shock, a great jolt to us, to our mind. And no one can escape from that. Not even the Gyanis. Even the Gyanis, they also have to go through this suffering. We know the examples how Sri Ramakrishna, he had a nephew, his brother's son. So his brother's son died young. And Sri Ramakrishna later describes, when he died, I was in a state when this death doesn't make any meaning. And I was smiling as if the sword had been drawn out from the scabbard. and the sword remains, only the cover has gone, this body is gone, Atman remains. So I had that type of idea. But later on, so much of pain came to me. I don't know how it came and why it came. I felt so much sad and sorrow in my heart. I felt like my heart was being wrung, like a wet towel is squeezed to remove water. Like that, my heart was being squeezed in that way. It was so painful. Even a state, Paramahamsa Sri Ramakrishna had to experience that pain of the death of a near ones. Swami Vivekananda had gone to a devotee's house in Varanasi, and news came that his near relative had gone. Swami Vivekananda, who was also a Paramahamsa sannyasi, established in the truth, had the experience of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, knew fully about the nature of the soul, that soul is undying. Yet, when he went there and got the news, he started shedding tears of pain, and it was so much suffering. The devotee who was not established in Advaita, but he saw we have an idea about how the monks should be. And he said, Swamiji, you are Paramahamsa, some sad news came, and you are crying like a baby, you are shedding tears. How is that happened? And Swamiji said, I have become monk, doesn't mean my heart has become of stone. Don't I feel the pain of the death of a near one? That will be there. So even the great illumined souls who have attained the knowledge of Brahman, they also feel shock of the death of near and dear ones. What to speak of ordinary people like us, ordinary householders? That is great shock. There is no denying fact. It cannot be removed just by knowledge and just by reading Gita. There is no doubt about that. Only thing is, we cannot always live in this sadness. We have to overcome that. After a shock immediate shock of the death of the near and dear one, for some time, for a few days, we have to overcome this and come to the normal state of life. Always living in sadness and this sorrow is not healthy, is not good for us or for all those who are around us, depending on us. So that is not good for our health, our mental health, and the service for others. We have to move on. Death is inevitable in this life. People will come, we will come and we will die. Who dies when, we do not know. How we die, we do not know. But when we are living, we are not dead. The living people have to work and act in this world. As quickly as we come back to the normal state and start functioning well, that is the best thing that we can do. The love and memory of those who are gone, let it be forever. But that should not make us full of in a depression state. So we have to overcome that. So how to do that? What is the solution for that? I'm trying to search that, and I will share my thoughts about that. How to cope with it? How to retain mental peace in such a situation? That is the question. So we can do that. We have to overcome that. We will overcome that. But as quickly as we can come, that is better for us, for the people around, and perhaps for the soul which has left the body. Soul doesn't want me to suffer because the person who was living had great love for us. He or she never wanted that we should suffer and cry and be depressed and on his or her death. They wanted us to remain peaceful. So if we cry and pass our days, weeks after week, that will make them unhappy if they have gone to heaven or they are able to perceive us. So that will not even make the people who have gone away happy, and that is, they do not intend that. So they also want us to be normal. So how to become normal again and how to become again normal quickly, that is the finding. Something has to be done. So this regaining our mental pace again, we can do at 3 levels. One is at the physical level first. how to retain, how the physical, at the physical level, what we can do to retain to our normal state of mind, to overcome this great grief, to become again straight in this joy that we got by losing our dear ones. So the one thing that we can do, that those visit of friends and relatives, when they come and we talk, that is a great assurance, that is a great relief. So we should welcome that. We should not close ourselves and say that we are not going to meet, I'm too shocked. At the state of this shock and this suffering, we should welcome our relatives and friends who come to us and to talk to us. We may cry, but we should talk to them what happened, how we feel, what loss we have got. We should try to express. That makes our mind cooler. By sharing the suffering and pain, it is halved, as they say. When you share some suffering, some sorrow, the sorrow is halved. The sadness becomes less. So always try to share that with the visitors that they come to us. So welcome them and talk to them. So should not shut ourselves in isolation in some unknown place. So that is one way we should try to overcome that. Another is talking with them. If some people do not come and they call, don't be tired of taking the phone calls. Talk to them as much as we can do. They are also eager to know. We are very much grieved. We are very sorry because we are close. They are also very sad, and you can't measure the sadness just because they were our family members. Even the friends become very sad. Even our friends, which may not be close to the person diseased, become very sad to see our sadness. So to relieve them from sadness, we need to talk to them, and we need to share with them our thoughts, and they will also speak. So we should welcome people calling, and we should respond to that, and we should talk to those people who call us on phone or on video chatting. That's another way to quickly overcome the suffering that we are having by the loss of our near ones. Another thing that removes our suffering is some rituals. There are many rituals in many traditions for the deceased. So we should take part in that. There are daily rituals or few days rituals. And the final ritual in Hinduism is called Shraddha Ceremony. That is done on 13th day mostly. And in that Shraddha Ceremony, the priest comes and he prays the mantras, and you offer something, you cook some pindadana or something is there. So those are the physical activities which will make us active in offering something to the soul which has left us and which is so dear to us, separation from which is so painful to us, but taking part in the Shraddha ceremony or in any situation like that, whatever day in our tradition is there. So that is also helpful in retaining peace of mind during these great loss we had experienced a few days ago. So these at the physical level help us to gain back our peace of mind and live a normal life. So then another level also we need to work to retain peace of mind. And that is the mental level. At the mental level we need to understand that death is inevitable. For us, we are born, we all will die. So no one can stop death. And when death will come, how death will come, that nobody knows. So death is inevitable for a person who is born. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityu, said Sri Krishna. So whoever is born, for him dhruva, it is certain, it is inevitable that we will die. So death is inevitable. Our dear one, near one which was born, he or she has to die. It is too early or it is too late. The pain of separation doesn't matter about death. Even if my parent is like 95 years old, that person's death will be same painful as will be any other friend or any other person relative dying. So this age is also not the thing that because he's 90 years, that's why my pain will be less. So pain will be there, but we should know that this jatasya dhruvo mrityu, death is inevitable. We all will die. So the pain is there. This is the mental exercise. Oh, death is inevitable. So he went little faster. Why did he go that? Why this COVID didn't happen to me and I am not dead and that my close relative, son or daughter or brother or sister, he or she passed away. So that is according to our prarabdha. We know that when prarabdha finishes, then we die. We die by COVID or heart attack, by accident or by anything. We will just leave this body and go to our own abode. We come here for the time being and act in that, and then we die. We have to have this knowledge of the prarabdha, that anyone who is born because of the prarabdha will die of the prarabdha. It's all set. When we are to die, it's all set. And death is not that something being deprived of. That person who is dead has not been deprived of anything. Only I feel so sad because of my relation, because of my attachment, because of my expectation from that person. We had seen a dream, and that dream is just broken. As we see so many good things in the dream, and suddenly dream breaks, and we wake up, and then we sometimes feel sad. Oh, that was very nice dream that I was having. I was talking with some Swami and he was answering so nicely. Everyone was there with joy. And now again I woke up and in this situation I am. Like that you feel sad for a moment when you wake up from a very good dream. Like that is the death of our dear ones. When they die, our expectation about them is also broken, shattered. And that also is one cause of death. As far as the movement of the soul is concerned, that moves according to the karma. In that there is no change. So we are born and we in this body, and then we leave this body and then go to some. If we had good karma or we had some good sanchita karma, we go to very good place, better than what we had in this world, and better we may be reborn with a better life. So there should be no problem for that thinking that, oh, that person died and couldn't, no sorrow for the person who passed away, but only sadness remains because of our personal attachment, relationship and personal expectation. And the feeling of that you have lost something. What you lose, that thing goes. If you lose some money, you don't really become sad for the money, what will happen, I will have spent in good cause, what that person will spend. You don't feel sad for that. You feel that your money was there and you lost it. There is no more with you to spend as you like. You had a relative or a close relative and he is gone. So you can do nothing for him. That it is the loss, pain of loss that is most difficult. It happening so many common in this pandemic time. And that's how at the mental level we understand that. You know the story of Bhagavan Buddha and Kisa Gautami. One lady, young widow, had only one son. And that son suddenly died, young son, and died. And then what to do? She became like a mad person. Only one support, and that also gone. So shocking, so difficult to bear. And Buddha had come to that village nearby that time. He was revered like God. He was all powerful, so peaceful. So when the people were having many stories that he can do everything and anything. And Kisa Gautami, with all her sorrow, where will you go? She go that time. So she, with the dead body, she went to Buddha and said, Lord, you are a great person. You are a great teacher. You have great powers. Now you have to do this much mercy. Please make my son alive again. Without him, I cannot live. Without him, I cannot survive. He was my life force, as it were. Now that is gone. There is no meaning in life. I have so much pain within me. Lord, you must make him revive from death to life. Kisa Gautami said. And Buddha was calm and quiet. He was not disturbed. He didn't say any philosophical thing that Jatasya Dhruva Mrityu. Oh, Kisa, whoever is born has to die. He didn't speak any of these words of philosophy, but he was peaceful and calm. And then he said, okay, whatever you say, can you bring some mustard seeds from a house in the village where nobody had died? No one relative had ever died, And Kisha Gautami said, yes, Lord, if that makes my son revive again to life, I will surely do that. She rushes to keep the dead body there with Gautam Buddha and rushes to village and knocks at the door like a frenzy, mad person and said, my son, only son is dead, and can you give me some mustard seed? Now, what was Buddha going to do? Mustard seed, some magic or something? He didn't say anything. He just asked her to bring mustard seed. He didn't promise that he will bring his son to life, but he just said, can you bring mustard seed? She had full faith that she could bring, if she could bring mustard seeds from the house where nobody has died, then my son will revive again. So she goes and the person says, yes, I can give mustard seed. And then she asked whether, okay, Buddha had another condition. He said, if anyone had died, so had any one of your relative ever died? He said, yes, my grandparents died last year and another person died this time. There have been deaths. Said, no, it won't work then. She goes to other house, asks the same question. No, where she found from village home to home in the village, she went whole day, as many houses as she could do, and she could find not a single house where there was no death. And then suddenly it flashes to her, oh, death is so inevitable. People who are born, they die. She didn't have to say Jatasya Dhruva Mrityu. She realized Jatasya Dhruva Mrityu. She realized the son is born and he will die one day. It came too early than I thought. It is too much shocking for me. But whoever is born has to die. There is no one in the world who no one has died. So death is inevitable. It is very natural. It happens. And this knowledge, when it dawned upon her, she came peaceful, changed, calm, came to Buddha and said, Lord, now I know. Now I know the meaning that death is inevitable, and I take this body and I will cremate this body. So Buddha then gives that body to her. He didn't have to give any sermon, any lecture. There was no expectation. It came to her mind. Mentally she could understand that death is inevitable. Death will happen. When happens? How happens? Nobody knows. But it happens when we are born. Whenever our scriptures say, whenever prarabdha is finished, then we give up this body. We are released from the cage of body. That is what our scriptures say. Death is nothing but it is freedom from the cage of body. So then again to be trapped in another body if we are not liberated. So like this Buddha said to Kisha Gautami, and it happened. Our Kabir Das ji wrote very nice doha on this. Chalti chakki dekh ke diya kabira roye, dui patan ke beech mein sabit bacha na koi. So he said that this world is like a chakki, like a the grinding stones, where we grind wheat or any other grain. With the upper stone, it crushes the lower the grain between the two stones, and you get the flour. So he says this earth and heaven are like the two grinding stones, and it is being ground, and whoever is there, all will be crushed and gone, all will die. So it gives me tears. I cry for that. No one is there to remain alive forever. Dui patan ke beech mein sabut bacha na koi. No one is there. Whoever is born has to die. That is the knowledge that comes from our Kabir Das ji. And once, you know how this people, when they feel empathetic people, when they come, how this can be taken away by conversation or contact like that. You can really take the suffering from other people when you talk to them. There's so much lesson. Once one woman porter came to Holy Mother carrying some thing that they had ordered from the shop, some vegetables. And seeing that, Holy Mother asked, "Oh, Mother, you had to carry yourself? Earlier, your young son used to bring, his youthful son. What happened to him? Why you have to carry in this old age?" So, and she started crying. She said, "My that son who was earning money for me, working for me, only son, he died." So it was so painful, and the lady started crying because of remembering the death of her son. And with the death of her son, all support was gone. She had to work hard again. Old lady working miles together to supply supply the vegetables and all groceries to whoever asked. Then hearing that young son of that lady had died, Holy Mother felt so much pain that she also started crying, and she started feeling so much pain herself that and shedding tears, and it was too pain for Holy Mother. All the pain that Mother had felt, Holy Mother, the Mother of all, would feel the pain of the death and separation of this boy, who was the son of this lady porter. And she started crying and lamenting so much, wailing so much, that the lady said, "Oh, Mother, don't worry, one who is born dies." So like this, she was so much consoled by the feeling and empathy and real pain that Holy Mother had for the death of the son of that woman. So that way also sometimes we become free from the pain. Pain becomes less when you have real empathetic person, empathetic friend in our life. That's why we should always try to communicate in this time of difficulty, in this time of shock. With these 2 or 3 examples of our what we should do at the mental level, now there is a third and final level called spiritual level. What are the spiritual level? Spiritual level when we become wiser and understand that na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavitavana bhuya ajo nitya shasatoyam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. This soul, the person whom I think as the body which is dead, is not the real body. Actually, that being was the person whom I treated as my brother or sister or son or daughter or father or mother, was the soul. Body was the external covering. And what about that soul? Did it die too? No, soul doesn't die. It is never born and it doesn't die, this verse from the Upanishad says. And it is always there. It is aja, unborn. It is eternal, ever existing. It is ancient. It is glorious. That soul never dies. So there is no real death of whom I was thinking that person is dead. So this is at the spiritual level, at the level of deep intellectual conviction, that we understand death was not there. It is a separation of the body. That person who I treated as my son or daughter or brother or sister remains alive. This body will not be there. That name will not be there. That relationship with me will not be there. But soul doesn't die. Atma is always immortal. So this, the nature of the self as the basis of everything. And that self that has left this body is the basis of everything. Actually, it is my own self. The spiritual level comes deeper to understand that is my own self or Atman, which appears as this whole world. My son, my daughter, they were all my own self. That's why they are called Atmaja, self-reborn, Atmaja, self-reborn daughter. Like that, the term in Sanskrit is there. As if you are born as your son, as if you are born as your daughter. But the death of the daughter or son or brother or sister or father or mother is not a death of yourself. That self is all pervading and it is immortal. You were seeing that, manifested as that, you will not see that. But nothing has happened to the soul. As yourself, you are ever same. You are not. And that self doesn't appear only as your daughter or as your son, but that self also appears as yourself. This body, mind, senses, this bundle of desires and all that. that is all also appearing. The self is appearing, or as you, what you call I, that is also your true self appearing at that. So self does not die. What dies is this body, mind. But as self, you are immortal. That self was appearing as your son or daughter, so that is gone. So one day this, what is appearing as you, that will be also gone. But that will not take anything away from you. The self will ever remain. Appearance only will be gone. This is how we can find at the spiritual level the solace of the death of dear ones. Swami Vivekananda wrote very nicely in the Song of the Sannyasi, and he said, they know no truth who dream such vacant dreams as father, mother, children, wife and friend, the sexless self, whose father he, whose child, whose friend, whose foe is he, who is but one. The self is all in all, none else exists, and thou art that. Sannyasin bold, say Om, Tat Sat Om. That Om is the self, that alone is the truth, that alone is eternal, and all this is just the appearance of the self as father, mother, children, wife and friend, as this body, as me. This is all the appearance of the self. That self alone exists, others are appearance, they come and they go. That is the appearance thing happens. So whom I thought was my son or daughter, that is the myself appearing that. This body, myself appearing this body. This whole universe is myself appearing that. And that self alone abides. That self alone is reality. And its existence cannot be taken away by Yama or anyone. So it always remains. Knowing the nature of the self is another way by which we can be established at the spiritual level to cope up this pain of death. If we can become wise in that way, so this will revert back to our original peace too soon. So soon it will come. Atman is Satchit Ananda, and it appears as soul and everything else. So this Atman is appearing as this whole universe. It is all self alone is right thing. Everything that appears in the universe, the created universe, all will be destroyed, all will be gone, all will be changed to be again recreated again. So this change in the universe is common. One who is born has to die. What is created has to be destroyed and to be reborn again, to be recreated again. But what doesn't change is the soul or Brahman or the Atman, the true self. Myself doesn't change. So Atman is Sat Chit Ananda. It is existence itself. It is not, we cannot call it existing something, but existence itself is Atman. Atman's existence is borrowed by the thing that appears to be existing. So when they have borrowed something, when it's not their real nature, that borrowed thing has to be returned. It will go away. That what it is not your original, what is borrowed, what is taken, that has to be returned, that will go away, that will fade away, like that. Only what will remain is your true nature. Sat will remain with the self, but borrowed Sat, existing thing, that existing thing will lose their existence. But the true existence, infinite existence of the Atman, that will always be there. And Atman is the source of all knowledge, all awareness. True life is the Atman. It will never be dead. Atman ever remains so Chit, and it is always blissful and lovable. That is the Atman that I am. That Atman that I am appear as whole this universe, my relations, my friends, my enemies, the beautiful animals and plants, the dangerous, ferocious animals, all is Atman appearing as that. So Atman will remain, appearance will go. So this knowledge is the spiritual way to regain our peace. How to get this when something happens? It doesn't happen only by your after death of someone, it has to be practiced and regained. The knowledge of the Atman has to be always, we should be aware of that. That's why spiritual practice is needed for whole life to bear the shock of loss, which may come anytime. Loss of wealth, loss of fame, loss of a person, that may come. How to become strong in the face of loss, that happens in life. So spiritual practice is needed. For the spiritual practice, as Sri Krishna said, Anityam Asukham Lokam. This world where you are born is Anitya, it is ever changing, it is not permanent. And Asukham, that's why there is no real happiness also. So, but we want all happiness, we want unlimited life, eternal life. So how to do? Said, there is a way. Imam prapya bhajaswamam. Be devoted to me. Be connected to me. God. What is God? Atman manifested, self-manifested. Be connected to them, to God, and then you will get that all wisdom and all that strength. God is none else but our own self or Atma. God, Sri Krishna himself says, Aham Atma Guda Kesha Sarva Bhutasaya Sthita. I am the Atman. What you said, that person, I was the reality in that. That I appeared as your son, I appeared as your daughter, as your brother, as your sister. It is I am the Krishna, your very Atma appear as that. Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhuta. I reside in the heart of every being, every living being. I am the reality in that. Hold on to that reality that never dies. And that way we'll come back quick to the peace, that we can retain peace. Be firmly rooted in the self through bhakti and jnana. So this Atman, we have to be rooted in the Atman, that whatever happens, we are still staying. Maybe little shock, little bending, because that great shock is there, that will happen. But quickly we'll come back to our original state of peace. And we will accept all the changes, all the loss. Yes, it happens. Yes, that is natural, it happens. So through bhakti or jnana, we can love God, and be all loving and caring and praying and singing and reading and by the scriptures and remembering and meditating on God and come closer to God. By that we will be rooted in the self, or through jnana. The jnana that I am the self and I have become all. This whole world is changing, evanescent. It is every moment changing. I should not be attached to that. That is the jnana way of remaining rooted in the self. By that way, we can revert back to our original peace soon. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, Ishwari Vastu Arsham Avastu. God alone is the substance. Everything is non-substance. Everything is unreal. So we should be rooted in the substance, unchangeable, ever-present, ever-living. When we are living, that love and our holding on to God is very very important. In Kathopanishad also it is said, Nityo Anityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman Tamatmastham Enu Pashyanti Dhira Tesham Shanti Shashwati Netaresham. Those who see eternal, unchangeable in the changeable world. Something unchangeable that goes. That is the Atma, Nityo, Anitya. This world manufactured of name and form is Anitya, but we should perceive that Nitya. When we deal with our children or friend or brother and parents and friends, we should try to perceive the reality, the unchanging reality, that Nitya in them, not only external thing. That every being is that shining God, that Atman in everywhere it dazzles, external form doesn't matter at all. Nityo Anityanam Chetanas Chetananam. And the consciousness among the all conscious being, there is unchanging consciousness, Chetanas Chetananam. Eko Bahunam. One being pervades so many varieties of name and form and color. One being is there, the real, the truth. Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman. That is the one who grants us the fruits of our action, Vidadhati Kaman. When we perceive that one, eternal, unchangeable among the changeable, then only there will be perfect peace. Tesham Shanti Shashvati. Perfect peace will be there. Netaresham, not to others. Until and unless we perceive that one, that all pervading Atman or God, whatever you say, Jnani will say Atman and the devotee will say God, that is there in everything. That is the real being, and that is the one, if we can perceive that through your sharpened and purified intellect, then only there is eternal peace. Netaresham, not to others. Only who see the external, do not perceive the Atman, for them suffering will be there, loss of suffering coming back will be difficult. This is how we can retain our peace when someone, our real, a near and dear one dies, and this shock comes. With all this practice, we can retain that peace. If we do not practice this, then we will suffer a lot. And by suffering more than the time that we are supposed to mourn, like it is allowed by 12, 13 days, after that slowly you have to come back, and if we practice at the physical level, mental level, and at the spiritual or philosophical level, we will come back to retain back our a peace of mind. That was my thought that I wanted to present to you. Thank you very much. If you have yourself suffered, you must be hoping that suffering. If your some near and dear ones had that loss, please try to have very empathetic and feel that pain. Your feeling of the pain of others, that will reduce their pain. Feel that pain and also try to solve this suffering through all this physical, mental and spiritual level. Hopefully by God's grace, this all pandemic will soon be over and we'll retain our normal state, normal way of our life. And I wish that, and I pray to Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother Shraddha Devi and Swami Vivekananda, Buddha and Jesus whom we worship in Toronto, to grant us a peace of mind and a normal life again, and give us relief from this pandemic all over the world. At the end, I close with the closing chant. Pranatanam prasiddhatvam Devi Vishwartiharini Trailokyavasinam idde Lokanam Varada Bhava Prasida Matar Vinayena Yate Nityam Bhava Snehavati Suteshu Premaika Bindum Chiradagda Chitte Vishencha Chittam Kuruna Sushantam. Be gracious, O Divine Mother, I beseech Thee, who art ever affectionate to Thy children. Please pour one drop of Thy love into our long burning hearts and make our hearts very cool and peaceful. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
So that was a beautiful talk by Swami Kripamayananda on how to retain peace when a near one dies. And he has suggested 3 types of methods: physical, mental and intellectual. So I will try to give the gist in Hindi. Before that, as I told you, first of all, I must thank Swami Kripamayananda for sending his video of the talk, and for, I hope, the way he has presented the facts, it will be helpful for those who have suffered due to the death of near and dear ones, will retain the peace of mind. And as I told earlier, tomorrow we are going to have the talk from Swami Anandaji, the minister in charge of UK, Vedanta Center of UK, and his topic will be the traditional methods of stress management. तो अभी कृपामयानंद जी ने बहुत सुंदर प्रवचन दिया। हमारे नज़दीक के लोग का उनकी जब मृत्यु हो जाए तब हमारे मन की शांति हम कैसे बनाए रख सकते हैं, उसके बारे में उनका प्रवचन था। तो पहले तो उन्होंने ये कहा कि ये बात सच है कि जब किसी की मृत्यु होती है, हमारे मित्र की या हमारे पहचान वाले की या हमारे संबंधी की, तो दुख होता है और वो बहुत स्वाभाविक है। मनुष्य होने के नाते ये दुख होना स्वाभाविक है, परंतु उसमें से धीरे धीरे कैसे मुक्त हो सकते हैं उसके बारे में हमें सोचना है। श्री रामकृष्ण देव को भी थोड़े समय के लिए दुख हुआ था। जब उनके भांजे अक्षय कुमार, उनके भतीजे अक्षय कुमार का उनकी मृत्यु हो गई, तो पहले तो बहुत हंसने लग गए, अरे ये तो जीवन तो क्षणभंगुर है। फिर बाद में दूसरे दिन उनको इतना दुख हुआ, मानो जब ये गमछे को निचोड़ते हैं, पानी वाला गमछा हो उसको निचोड़ते हैं, तो कैसे उसी प्रकार से उन्होंने कहा कि मानो मेरा हृदय कोई निचोड़ रहा है, इतना दुख हुआ। पर फिर उसमें से वे बाहर आए। उसी प्रकार से स्वामी विवेकानंद जी, जब श्री रामकृष्ण देव के भक्त बलराम बसु की मृत्यु हो गई, तब उन्होंने कहा प्रमदास मित्र को, इस प्रकार से वे रोए, तो उनको लगा, उन्होंने कहा अरे आप तो वेदांती है। तो उन्होंने कहा वेदांती भले रहा, पर मेरे पास हृदय है, और ये बहुत परम भक्त थे श्री रामकृष्ण के। तो जो भी होगा, ऐसे बड़े महापुरुषों को भी कुछ समय के लिए तो दुख होता ही है, तो ये स्वाभाविक है। परंतु हमको जल्दी से उसके बाहर कैसे निकल सके, उसके लिए उन्होंने 3 प्रकार के रास्ते बताए। एक तो है भौतिक प्रकार से, मतलब होता है जैसे उसमें से कुछ है, जैसे कि हमारे मित्रों से हम अपने दुख को बांटें। दुख को बांटने से वो कम हो जाता है। तो हमारे मित्रों को, हमारे संबंधियों को, जो हमारे प्रियजन हैं, उनको यह दुख की बात, हमारे दुख की बात बोलने से वह दुख कम हो जाता है। और हमको छिपाना नहीं है, जो हमको दुख, हमारी जो भावनाएं हैं उसको व्यक्त भी करना है, और धीरे धीरे उसमें से बाहर निकलना है। तो इस प्रकार से शेयरिंग द सफरिंग बिकम्स हाफ। ये कहा जाता है कि जब आप अपने दुख को किसी के साथ उसके साथ साझा करते हैं, तो वह कम हो जाता है। फिर उस समय मान लो आपके किसी संबंधी की मृत्यु हुई हो, उसको भी आपको दिलासा देना चाहिए। दिलासा देने से, उसके लिए प्रार्थना करने से काफ़ी वह दुख कम हो जाता है। फिर यह जो श्राद्ध कार्य आदि होते हैं, उसमें भी भाग लिया जा सकता है। स्मृति सभा होती है, प्रार्थना सभा होती है, और श्राद्ध आदि जो हमारे धार्मिक क्रियाएं हैं मृत्यु के बाद की, उसमें भी शामिल होने से हमें उसका फ़ायदा होता है। फिर जहाँ तक मानसिक लेवल का सवाल है, एक दूसरा तरीका है, मन से हमको उसमें से बाहर आना है। तो कहा उसमें यह जानने से कि मृत्यु अवश्यंभावी है। आज तक एक भी मनुष्य ऐसा नहीं है जिसका जन्म हुआ हो और उसकी मृत्यु नहीं हुई हो, आज तक नहीं। चाहे कुछ भी हो, पैसा वाला हो, भिखारी हो, प्रत्येक व्यक्ति की मृत्यु होती ही है, अवश्यंभावी है। जाता से ही ध्रुव मृत्यु, ध्रुवम जन्म मृत्यु से च तस्माद परिहार्य थे न तुम शोचितुमर्हसि। भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने अर्जुन को कहा, जाता से ही ध्रुव मृत्यु, जिसका भी जन्म हुआ है उसकी मृत्यु जरूर होगी, और जिसकी मृत्यु हुई उसका फिर पुनर्जन्म अवश्य होगा। तो इसलिए चिंता मत कर, दुख मत कर, ऐसा भगवान श्री कृष्ण अर्जुन को समझाते हैं 2वें अध्याय में। यही बात उन्होंने कही कि जिसका भी जन्म हो उसका मृत्यु निश्चित है, आज नहीं तो कल होगी ही। कोरोना से नहीं होगी तो दूसरे किसी के कारण होगी निश्चित। तो यह जो एक ऐसी घटना है जो होने वाली थी वो आज घटी है। ऐसा नहीं है कि वो नहीं घटती, कभी न कभी तो घटती, आज घटी है तो उसको हमको सहन करना पड़ेगा और दूसरा उपाय नहीं है। फिर उन्होंने एक कहानी बताई, किसा गौतमी की कहानी भगवान बुद्ध के जीवन में आती है। ये कहानी की किसा गौतमी की एक बहुत ही सरल स्वभाव की स्त्री थी। उसका एक छोटा बच्चा अचानक मर गया तो बहुत रोने लग गई, क्योंकि वो बच्चा बहुत प्यारा था उसको। और फिर लोगों ने कहा कि अब तो मर गया है, उसको हमको गाड़ना पड़ेगा। तो उसने कहा नहीं नहीं, मैं बच्चे को कभी गाड़ने नहीं दूंगी, और उसको छोड़ ही नहीं रही है। सबने बहुत समझाया कि देखो ये कोई भी मृत्यु जब हो जाती है तो वापस नहीं आ सकता है। नहीं, बोले मुझे तो मेरा लड़का वापस चाहिए, कैसे भी करके चाहिए। तब सबने कहा कि देखो पास में गांव में कहीं आए हैं भगवान बुद्ध, उनको पास चमत्कार की शक्ति है, वो शायद चमत्कार कुछ कर दें। तो फिर जाती है बड़ी आशा के साथ, दौड़ते दौड़ते भगवान बुद्ध के पास एकदम शरणागत हो जाती है, चरणों में गिर जाती है, रोने लगती है, मेरा बच्चा मेरे को जिंदा कर दो, मेरा बच्चा जिंदा कर दो, मेरा बच्चा जिंदा कर दो, आपके पास चमत्कार की शक्ति है। भगवान बुद्ध ने सोचा इसको यदि मैं अभी दर्शन की बातें करूँगा तो इसकी तो बुद्धि अभी काम ही नहीं कर रही है, केवल रो रही है। तो उन्होंने भगवान बुद्ध ने कहा हाँ मैं तेरे बच्चे को जिंदा कर दूंगा। एकदम से किसा ब्राह्मणी के चमक आ गई आंखों में। हाँ, परंतु उसके लिए कुछ करना पड़ेगा। जो करने को आप बोले मैं तैयार हूँ। बोले कुछ नहीं करना है, थोड़े से सरसों के दाने लाना है। बोले अभी ले आती हूँ, पर एक याद रखना जिस घर में किसी की मृत्यु नहीं हुई हो उस घर से लाना है। बोले अभी लाती हूँ। और फिर जाती है, प्रत्येक घर में थोड़ा सा सरसों का दाना दो। बोले अभी ले जाओ। अच्छा आपके घर में मृत्यु तो नहीं? बोले मृत्यु तो क्या अभी पिछले 1-2 महीने पहले ही हुई है। किसी की मृत्यु बोले कि 1 साल पहले हुई है। कोई एक घर नहीं मिला, पूरे कितनी जगह गई, सुबह से लेकर शाम तक थक गई, आकर के शरणागत हो गई। बुद्ध देव भगवान को कहा सरसों के दाने देने को सब तैयार है, पर घोर घर एक भी नहीं मिला जिसमें मृत्यु नहीं हो। तब भगवान बुद्ध ने कहा तो अब किसा तुम समझ गई, कोई एक भी घर ऐसा नहीं है जहाँ मृत्यु किसी की नहीं हुई हो। मृत्यु सभी की होगी, तेरी भी होगी, मेरी भी होगी, ये बच्चे की हुई है, अतः अब शांत हो जा। इस प्रकार से फिर किसा गौतमी शांत होती है। एक बहुत सुंदर बात बताई। फिर उन्होंने बहुत हिंदी में एक कबीर की जो बात है वो बताई, चलती चक्की देखकर दिया कबीरा रोए, दुई पाटन के बीच में साबुत बचा न कोई। जो चक्की चल रही है, ऊपर आकाश है, नीचे पृथ्वी, ये चक्की चल रही है, और इसमें जो भी आता है दिया कबीरा रोए। और कबीर रोते रो के बोलता है कि एक भी इसमें बचा नहीं चक्की के बीच में जो भी दाना आता है वो खत्म हो जाता है। उसी प्रकार से बोले ये चक्की ऐसी है जिसमें जो भी आया इस पृथ्वी के ऊपर सब खत्म। दुई पाटन के बीच में साबुत बचा न कोई, एक भी व्यक्ति साबुत नहीं बचा, सब खत्म हो गए। ये चक्की है, जीवन रूपी चक्की। फिर उन्होंने माँ शारदा की बात बताई। माँ शारदा के जीवन में आती है घटना। एक बार वहाँ पर एक बुढ़िया आती है, सब सामान लेकर के अपने सिर पर रखते हुए, और जब आती है तो माँ ने कहा अरे बेटा तो तुम बहुत दिन से आई नहीं, क्या बात है? तो वह रोने लग गई। बोले मेरा जवान लड़का मर गया। हाँ क्या बोलती है, जवान लड़का मर गया? और माँ शारदा देवी स्वयं इतने जोर जोर से रोने लग गई, अरे रे रे जवान लड़का मर गया, अरे रे रे जवान लड़का मर गया, खुद रोने लग गई। अब ये जो रो रही थी वो देख रही माँ शारदा देवी, ये खुद रो रही है, मेरे दुख के कारण वो रो रही है। तो वो उल्टा हो रहा है, फिर वो माँ को समझाती, माँ ठीक है, जो हो गया सो हो गया, अभी इतना मत रो। इतना रोई माँ, रो रो करके उसका पूरा दुख उन्होंने ले लिया। तो इस प्रकार से दुख को शेयर करने से भी दुख कम होता है, ये बताया था पहले भी। फिर रहता आध्यात्मिक लेवल, आध्यात्मिक विधि। तो आध्यात्मिक के होते हैं कि जैसे भगवद गीता में भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने बताया कि हम शरीर नहीं है, बुद्धि नहीं है, मन नहीं, इसके भीतर में जो आत्मा है ये हमारा मूल स्वभाव है। न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन नायम भूत्वा भविता वा न भूय अजो नित्य शाश्वतोयम पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे। यह शरीर न कभी जन्मता है और न मरता है, तथा यह उत्पन्न होकर फिर होने वाला नहीं है। यह जन्म रहित, नित्य, निरंतर रहने वाला, शाश्वत और अनादि है। शरीर के मारे जाने पर भी यह नहीं मारा जाता। यह बात भगवान श्री कृष्ण गीता में कई श्लोकों में कई प्रकार से कहते हैं कि आत्मा अजन्मा है, उसकी मृत्यु नहीं होती। आत्मा जो है वो शाश्वत है, उसको कोई मार नहीं सकता। मृत्यु होती शरीर की, इसलिए न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीर। हन्यमाने शरीर को मृत्यु हो सकती है, कभी शरीर की मृत्यु हो सकती, पर कभी आत्मा की नहीं हो सकती। और इस प्रकार से कई ऐसे श्लोक हैं जिसमें भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने गीता में यह कहा है कि आत्मा अजर अमर है, शरीर ही मरता है, आत्मा कभी नहीं मरती। यह अब यदि हम जानते हैं, यह ज्ञान यदि हमारे मन में धीरे धीरे करके आए, एक दिन तो आएगा नहीं, पर धीरे धीरे हमको अपने आप को समझाते प्रयत्न करें, तो फिर यह हमें दुख की निवृत्ति उससे होगी। फिर यह जो बताया सॉन्ग ऑफ द सन्यासी, स्वामी विवेकानंद के एक बहुत सुंदर सन्यासी का गीत, उसमें भी कहा है कि ये सभी जो है उसको छोड़ दो, ओम तत्सत ओम। यह जो सब कुछ है, जो कुछ है दिखता है, वह सब कुछ अस्थाई है, इसको छोड़ करके ईश्वर को पकड़ो। फिर कहते हैं सच्चिदानंद, यह जो हमारे आत्मा का मूल स्वभाव है, सच्चिदानंद स्वरूप है, उसकी ओर हमें अग्रसर होना है। यही स्पिरिचुअल प्रैक्टिस, यही आध्यात्मिक साधना है। वो जितनी साधना हम करेंगे उतना हमारा इस प्रकार का जो जागतिक दुख है, जो संसार का दुख है, उसको सहन करने की शक्ति हमारी बढ़ती जाएगी। फिर भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने उपाय बताया, अनित्यम असुखम लोकम इमं प्राप्य भजस्व माम। यह जो लोक है अनित्य है, पहली बात, ये पृथ्वी लोक है अनित्य, आज है कल नहीं है, अनित्य है। असुखम, और यहाँ सुख नहीं है, थोड़ा सा सुख दिखता है बाहर से, पर अंदर में दुख ही दुख है। तो ऐसे स्थिति में तो क्या करना चाहिए? भजस्व माम, मेरी भजना करो, मेरा भजन करो तो शांति मिलेगी। फिर कहते हैं, श्री रामकृष्ण भी कहते हैं, ईश्वर सत्य है, जगत मिथ्या है, तो ईश्वर को पकड़ो, तब जा करके हमें शांति मिलेगी। कठोपनिषद में बहुत ही सुंदर वह श्लोक आता है, नित्यो नित्यानाम चेतनश्चेतनानाम एको बहुनाम यो विदधाति कामान तम आत्मस्थम येनु पश्यन्ते धीराः तेषां शांति शाश्वती नेतरेषाम। नित्य जो आत्मा है उसके भीतर में परमात्मा है, नित्य चेतन तत्व है, उसके भीतर में परम चैतन्य तत्व है। ये जो परम चैतन्य तत्व है, परमात्मा है, तम आत्मस्थम येनु पश्यन्ते धीराः, जो धीर व्यक्ति इस आत्मा के भीतर में अवस्थित उस परमात्मा के दर्शन करते हैं, उन्हीं को शाश्वत शांति मिलती है, दूसरे को किसी को नहीं मिलती। तो हमारा उद्देश्य होना चाहिए, इस शाश्वत शांति को प्राप्त करने के लिए परमात्मा की ओर अग्रसर होंगे, हम आध्यात्मिक साधना करेंगे, तब जा करके धीरे धीरे करके अवश्य हम इस प्रकार के दुखों से हमेशा के लिए हम दुखों से बाहर आ सकेंगे और दुखों को भुला सकेंगे। और अंत में उन्होंने प्रार्थना की, देवी की प्रार्थना है चंडी दुर्गा सप्तशती की, प्रणतानाम प्रसीदत्वम देवी विश्वार्तिहारिणी त्रैलोक्यवासिना मिड्य लोकानाम वरदा भव। कहा गया है, हे माँ जगदम्बे विश्वार्तिहारिणी, विश्व का दुख हरण करने वाली हे जगदम्बे, हम तुम्हें प्रणाम करते हैं और सारे लोगों को वरदान दो और इस प्रकार से शांति प्रदान करो। तो इस प्रकार से जगदम्बा के चरणों में माँ शारदा देवी की भी उन्होंने स्तुति की माँ शारदा देवी के चरणों में, जगदम्बा के चरणों में प्रार्थना करते हैं। भगवान श्री रामकृष्ण, माँ शारदा देवी स्वामी विवेकानंद के चरणों में उन्होंने अंत में प्रार्थना की और ये कहा कि जल्दी से हम इस कोरोना वायरस के इस प्रकार की जो परिस्थिति है उसमें से हम बाहर आ जाएं और फिर हमारा जीवन सामान्य जीवन हो जाए, इस प्रकार की उन्होंने प्रार्थना की। तो बहुत सुंदर उन्होंने प्रवचन दिया कृपामयानंद जी ने, और इसी के साथ हम यहाँ पर आज समाप्त करते हैं। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत। श्री राम कृष्णार्पणमस्तु।